The story of Lenny Dirickson. Our story begins on March 14, 1998. The day started off as any other quiet, typical Saturday for 39-year-old Leonard Lenny Dirickson and his 16-year-old son, Jared. They were having breakfast at Larry's dairy farm in Strong City, Oklahoma. Around 9 a.m., as they were eating, an unannounced visitor arrived at the farm. Lenny went outside, and Jared watched his father talk to the stranger from inside the house for a couple of minutes. After a few minutes, Lenny returned and told Jared that the man inquired about the sale of one of Lenny's stud horses and wanted to see the animal. Before leaving with the man, Jared says that his father last said to him that he would go with the man and asked Jared to stay at the farm, get some feed and go feed the cows, and that he would be back later in the afternoon. Lenny was to travel to Elk City in Oklahoma and other places in Texas that day, though Jared didn't know what their first destination would be. Lenny was to return later that evening, but he never came home. Jared waited until the next morning. This is when he and his family reported Lenny as missing. Upon a thorough search of the house, investigators discovered that Lenny left his uncashed paycheck at home and had $150 or possibly less with him on the day he disappeared. Investigators later also revealed that Lenny never advertised the horse for sale. They searched the property where Lenny kept his stud horse and discovered that Lenny failed to arrive there that day. Every possible lead failed to turn up any valuable information, and police have found no signs of a struggle, no evidence of foul play, no body, no trace, nothing. What do we know about the stranger? Based on Jared's descriptions, the stranger arrived in a white 1994 Ford F-150 pickup truck. The truck had a yellow tag on the vehicle's front end and may have had a number plate from New Mexico. The stranger was described by Jared as a Caucasian male with a full reddish beard. He wore a blue jacket, a striped Western-style t-shirt, blue jeans, and a black baseball cap with the red "No Fear" logo on the front. He appeared to be in his early 40s, around 6 feet 2 inches tall, and was around 210 pounds in weight, and smoked Marlboro Light cigarettes. A sketch of the man was prepared as seen in this video. According to Jared, the man appeared to be a stranger. However, the conversation between his father, Lenny, and the visitor appeared friendly. The question: did Lenny leave on his own terms? Lenny was struggling around the time of his disappearance, both financially and emotionally. He was facing financial difficulties, he was in debt, his credit cards were maxed out, and his dairy farm business folded months prior in December of 1997. He had also recently gone through a painful divorce in 1996 that fractured the family through a bitter custody battle over Jared and his younger sister. However, despite all this hardship, Lenny's family is insistent that he didn't leave on his own terms. They firmly believe that he wouldn't have abandoned his family. Jared said, "Me and my dad, we were together every day. Every morning we would go to work, do the chores, and I would go to school. I don't think he would have ever left me and not ever come back to see me or nothing, because we're close. I don't think he would have ever done that to me." Investigators believe that the stranger knew Lenny beforehand, but the authorities do not know if the unidentified man was involved in his disappearance or not. Has Lenny been seen since? There have been 2 reported sightings of Lenny since his 1998 disappearance. First, at approximately 11 a.m. on March 14, the same morning Lenny went missing, a waitress at the Cattle restaurant in Elk City claimed that she has seen Lenny and another male individual eating breakfast together at a local coffee shop. Cliff Gann, an inspector for the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, says of the sighting, They were sitting there in the restaurant, and the unknown man they were trying to identify was doing most of the talking, and Leonard was just drinking coffee and listening to the man talk. The eyewitness description of the man matched that of Jared's, and according to the waitress, there was nothing suspicious about the man's behavior. Lenny only drinking coffee also makes sense, as he had had breakfast with Jared earlier. However, further investigation didn't lead to anything. Then, 6 months after his disappearance, a man called the police on the phone claiming that he saw Lenny in a bar in Amarillo, Texas. He was able to describe the man in detail over the phone, but refused to give his name and remained anonymous. By the time local police officers arrived at the bar, both the caller and the man he claimed was Lenny Dirickson were gone. The following day, police interviewed the bartender who had been working there that night, who validated the caller's story. Apparently, she remembered the caller being at the bar but had no further information. Joe Hay, the county sheriff, said about the incident, "We had no reason to disbelieve it. I believe he was there in the bar in Amarillo." Unfortunately, none of these sightings have led to anything. 20 years later, Lenny's case remains unsolved, and his family is still holding out for answers as to the whereabouts of their beloved father, son, and friend. So what happened? This case is very strange and a lot of questions remain. First, did the stranger know Lenny? If yes, how did they know each other? Also, did the waitress really see Lenny and the stranger in the bar in Elk City? If yes, they did reach Elk City then, but what happened after? Why did they never reach the horses? And what about the caller in Amarillo, whose story has also been validated by the bartender? Why did he want to remain anonymous? Did he fear something? Why was he not there when the police officers arrived? Did he maybe follow Lenny and the stranger? If yes, why didn't he report their whereabouts later? And what about Lenny's divorce and his financial difficulties? Maybe he owed money to someone and was trying to get away. Maybe he didn't see any other way out. But then, why would he leave Jared behind just like that? I mean, he was 16 and knew his way around the farm, but they seemingly had a really strong relationship, so leaving like that is still a mystery. What do you think? Did Lenny simply run away as he wanted to start over? Or did something more sinister take place? Or was the whole thing about the horse being up for sale just some secret message Jared misunderstood? Please let us know what you think in the comments. Again, thank you for watching, and please do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel to ensure you don't miss out on more intriguing stories in the future. See you next time.